Again, my name is Christian Mesh. I'm the tech lead of OpenTofu, sponsored by Spacelift. I know nothing about Spacelift, so please don't ask me about Spacelift, though we'll be hanging out at the booth this week. So, from fork to future, OpenTofu's role in shaping community-driven infrastructure as code. What is OpenTofu? Most of you folks already know quickly. It is a fork of HashiCorp's Terraform. It is MPL 2.0. It will always be MPL 2.0. There is literally no way we could change that, which is awesome. It is an IAC tool. It is under the Linux Foundation. We work with some amazing folks over there that really support us in figuring out how to actually work with the community, get everything done right. All of our trademarks are held by the Linux Foundation currently, which means none of the sponsoring companies have a universal control over the project. And we haven't had, I'm just going to skip to that next slide. Yeah, vendor neutral. And it's compatible. We spoke a little bit about that in the last talk, but functionally speaking, we have the 1.0 compatibility promise. We are sticking to it. We may be a version or two behind on certain Terraform features. We may be ahead on certain OpenTofu features, but if you have a large project, you're not using the bleeding edge features of either, it should be relatively painless to migrate between them. So OpenTofu values, truly open source. It is MPL 2.0, as I mentioned. It is not subject to any of these companies on my shirt right here. They all love OpenTofu. They support it, but they do not have their fingers in that pie. I've worked for Spacelift pretty much since the beginning, and I do not know anything about their project. I don't get any requests from them on, oh yeah, this is a feature that's important for this particular taco or this sponsoring company. This is going to make our product better. That's not the conversations we have. The only thing that I'm asked to do is make OpenTofu better because they understand that a strong community here leads to stronger products, stronger competition, and that is the right path forward. It is, so our entire direction is based on what the community's asked for. We look at what the top voted issues are, we look at RFCs, we look at everything we can get our hands on to try and build the best tool we can for the community with the community. And as I said, we're impartial, I already mentioned that. Layered and modular, we are doing our best to interact with all of the other tools in the ecosystem, build libraries where we can. We're in talks with Pulumi on some of the shared infrastructure that they utilize from OpenTofu. They use our registry. It'd be great if OpenTofu and TerraGrunt and Pulumi all use some of the same tooling, because we're kind of reinventing the wheel. But these are the conversations I love having that will take time, but are part of the success of this project. Let's see, and as we said, backwards compatible. So who are the contributors? We have 5 different companies sponsoring OpenTofu actively right now, in addition to some wonderful sponsorships for infrastructure from Cloudflare and a few other companies. But quickly calling them out, Spacelift, N0, Scalar, Gruntwork, and Harness all hire engineers to work on OpenTofu. All amazing people who I am truly lucky to be able to spend my 9 to 5 with. Yeah. So these engineers, yeah, folks 100% on OpenTofu. Some of them may come from backgrounds within one of the particular companies, but functionally, it is our only goal is to work on OpenTofu, make OpenTofu better, regardless of what our background is. Let's see. And Spacelift has been one of the companies that has hired some of the most engineers and has been into OpenTofu from the very beginning. If you want to talk about what OpenTofu was like on day 1, go talk to James up here. I'm going to pick on him. He mentioned he's been there since day 0. He's been there for every step of the roller coaster, which is hopefully leveling out right about now. So it's, yeah, I've already mentioned that. Designing and developing in the open. Again, we are... community is the word. We are stewards of the community. We are here to make the tool that you guys need. That is what my job is. As I mentioned before, we have an RFC process. We have issues. And the community is very involved in that. That is our bread and butter of figuring out what the next thing to do is. How can we help? How can we push this project forward? It is so much fun to sit down with a user and have them come to me with some strange problem that none of us on the core team have ever thought before. Maybe it's performance related, maybe it's a particular configuration, and just trying to work through that to try and figure out what the best way to solve those problems are, whether that's configuration that exists today, or trying to figure out something new to add to OpenTofu. I've only got 5 minutes, so I'm not going to share that story now. Yeah, RFC process, feedback from the community, and yeah, this is what we do. I apologize if I sound a little bit repetitive, but this is what we do. So 1.6 initial release. This was a little bit crazy. This was a, hey, we've got a fork. We need infrastructure to support the fork. We need engineers to support the fork. How the heck do we start? So this was a wild ride. Again, ask either myself or James about what that actually entailed. But it was exciting. It wasn't the easiest thing in the world, but we got through it. 1.7 was we're starting to hit our stride. We have engineers under our belt. We've got some experience. We're starting to try out some new features. We had a bunch of time donated from a company who was very heavily invested in the state encryption feature. They had already been maintaining a fork for years internally of Terraform, and as soon as they heard about OpenTofu and our interest in accepting community features, they were talking to us very early on, and we got that shipped. That was phenomenal. 1.8 was, okay, community feedback. We're starting to figure out our RFC process. We have got a better understanding of how to best listen to the community, how they want us to share our roadmap with them, how we move forward with that. And you can see that in some of the features. The early evaluation, which has opened the door for so much else within OpenTofu, is provider for each, for example, and just giving people more flexibility. That is what our goal is. And 1.9 is we're moving, we're grooving. And 1.10 is here's something new that has really, which is hopefully going to have a huge impact on security in a lot of companies, the ability to host providers and modules in their infrastructure with their security scanning tools. But again, all of this comes from what's the community passionate about? What are they asking for? And what are they interested in helping with? What are we interested in helping them with? This is the conversation we have day in and day out. So continuing the conversation, continuing the community spirit, IAC Conf, something presented by Spacelift. It is a half-day virtual event. They've put this together. You can scan the QR code to take a look at it. This is vendor agnostic. Yes, this is provided by Spacelift, but all of the talks are about infrastructure as code, regardless of vendor, and is designed to help to start conversations with the community, getting and connecting interested parties. So check it out. And I think that's all the time I have for today. Thank you so much, and hope to see you on GitHub. Bye.